Welcome back.
Yo, guess who got saved just in time?
None other than our Muski.
Y'all, I have really been saved just in time because right before we started this pod, me and Poonam were talking for the last 1.5 hours, and it started with how I have just crossed the Doha airport, guys.
One hell of a story.
Yeah, I mean, I just cannot, digest the fact that I was walking on that airport, flying in what Qatar Airways. Oh my god.
Yeah, guys, Muskan has been on a 15 days?
70.
17 days international birthday trip, and
Woohoo!
he just came back. And yeah, my work wife is back.
First of all, big, big time, love for my work wifey because of the way she handled everything while I was gone. And second, guys, if you do not have a Poonam in your life, you need to find a Poonam in your life, just not my Poonam, because this girl did not miss a single opportunity to hype me up. I mean, my stories, my posts, my close friends, my every shit posting, the way she has hyped me and made me realize that I'm on the top of the world, sitting on the top with her. Y'all really need to find a girly pop like that. And her replies were like, "A fashion is fashioning. Oh my god, so pretty." I mean, she made me feel way more better and prettier than I actually am, honestly.
No, she's just exaggerating the pictures. If you can ever see those, you will know why I've said what I said.
Which actually made me realize I also did put a story about this the other day. So, yeah, to give a little context, I was in Azerbaijan and Georgia. Azerbaijan, because that's
Ooh.
how the locals taught me to pronounce their country. Yeah. So, like, Georgia was sitting on the bucket list. So, was quite a bucket list moment. Touch wood. Yeah, I mean, Poonam appreciating me and showing that kind of love also. I got one or two such experiences back on the trip. So I talked about one of this in one of my stories that my sister was at the hair salon to get her hairs done. My sister got her hairs colored. So we came to pick her up, and the stylist, she was such a baddie. She was like, "I love your outfit. You look so good. Your makeup is slapping." And I was like, "What? A baddie? I feel so validated. Like, female validation is out of this world."
That's so true. And when I checked that story, I could feel that she must be so secure and giving in nature that she can come across any girl and then she can just say those words. I mean, it takes good bunch of secure in yourself to actually praise someone else, especially in the same gender.
Exactly.
So that's that.
Yeah,
But Muskan also has some stories about immigration, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, the scary immigration. I had to actually talk about two things. So, like, one of them being, so y'all know how the European visa is so tough. Right before this visa, my France visa got rejected, and you did hear us in the last pod, complaining about the passport, the visas. That was all because of this only. But now I'm very grateful that my France visa got rejected. Thank you.
All that happened for a reason.
Exactly. I wouldn't have wanted to be there in a wartime, geopolitical time like this at all. But yeah, coming to the immigration story. So, if you think that you can travel alone, put your cabin bags in the airplane cabins on your own, and, like, walk on the European street with your luggages and all, wait till you hit the Georgian immigration.
Why?
Those people will suck the life out of you. So what happens is Georgian immigration is considered to be pretty strict. Okay, their visa is also strict for Indian, but if you like have certain specifications and documents, you kind of get it. It's an e-visa for Indians, both Azerbaijan and Georgia.
Okay.
But major mishaps happen on the Georgian immigration to an extent that we saw. Like, there was this group which had like couples, freshly elder couples in the 40s or those kind of. One couple got deported to India
Why?
because they are so strict about their documents. So what happened? They really check your face, your expression, your hands. One person, we believe he was Nepali, I think.
Hmm.
He was asked to get out of the line for random checking, and then he was taken into a special room to get checked, and we don't know what. So I go to this immigration officer, and he was like, "Hello." I was like, okay, hello, thank God it's going smooth. And then he was like, why are you visiting Georgia? That's like a basic question. I was like, tourism. And then he's like, okay, can I see your bookings and your return stay and your return flight? So the thing is, my bookings were till 27
Hmm.
because the people I was traveling with, they were there till 27th, and I was leaving on 26th, mid of the day. So my back flight was 26th, but my stay was till 27th. They was like, I'm staying till 26th. And they were like, 26 or 27? You might want to be sure, lady. I was like, sir, what do you want from me? And then I explained to him that we're sharing the same hotel. That's why I'm this, that. And he's like, okay, okay, okay. And then they ask things like, how much cash are you carrying? And I'm carrying zero cash. Okay, I am on a credit card that is a German card, not even my card, and doesn't even have my name on it. And I was like, does he want my bank statements? Because that is something that was asked during visa application. I give him my bank statements from Kotak Bank, and brother is confused. He's like, what is this, madam? Give me your cash. Okay, I'll tell him that I have a bank balance which I'll be now taking out. I'll be using the ATM. So I showed, and I got so hyped up at this moment because people around me were getting deported. They were, put into random screenings, and I was alone, and I felt like, oh bhai, ye kya ho raha hai? And then I showed him my balance, and I'm not showing him via something else. I'm showing him through my Kotak app. And then he was like, what is this, madam? Show me in dollars. I was like, okay, that's what you want. And then I was like, okay, okay. And then I had to fake being chill. I was like, okay, sir, I'll give it to you in dollar. And then I quickly do the dollar math, and then I show him. He's like, okay, good. And I'm like, you fucked me up to say good. And even after that, everything was done. Retina scan was done. Everything was done. He opened my passport, and he was standing with that. I mean, the stamp machine was standing on the passport, but he did not stamp it for the longest. He was looking around. He was looking at me. He was checking, I don't know what. He was trying to figure out what material my soul is made of. The way he was checking, and then
Looking at the picture of the passport and the person standing right in front of him. He was scanning both.
yeah, I mean, my God, I was no. His stamp was open on the last page. मुझे भी एक बार को लगा he might be staring at my image. But the stamp was on the last page. He was opening the last page because they just stamp anywhere they want. But he took like 6 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes.
Hmm.
There was this very awkward silence, and then after 6 to 7 minutes, he looks at me, gives me a smirk, looks at it, he bajangs it, and then he's like, "Welcome to Georgia. Have a safe trip." And I'm like,
What?
"Loser."
What? What is this Karan Johar movie?
Yeah, and I was so scared. There was like this very elderly woman next to me, probably a Japanese woman, and the lady officer sitting next to my immigration officer. She was equally torturing the old lady. Okay.
Yeah, it was not Karan Johar movie. It was Anurag Kashyap movie.
True. I remember when they clear the immigration, the glass doors open with a green sign. When that green happened, I was shaking to my nerves. My hands were shaking. Oh God. Not only that, even when I was immigrating to leave Georgia and go to India, that time also the officer kind of, messed with me. There was this another officer, now. But he was like, I gave him my passport. My passport says Republic of India. I give him my return ticket. He sees the initial arrival passport of Georgia, and then he goes, give me proof. Give me your visa. Give me your this ID proof. And I'm like, but I am an Indian resident. What else? My passport is my proof. I got so scared because now,
Soul is the proof.
yeah, what do you want me to serve you pav bhaji here right now? What do you want, sir?
Samosas.
Exactly. And then he's like, no. How did you come to Georgia? Give Georgia proof. And I'm like, fucker just say na Georgia visa.
How did you come to Georgia? Say by walking.
Yeah, I was walking, sir. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
and even then, he wasn't putting the departure stamp. He also kept my passport open for the longest. And while they do the retina scan, they asked me to take off my glasses. So I took off my glasses, and one next thing I cannot even see anything properly. It's blur. It's literally blur. For the longest, he's just scanning my retina. And I know कि एक bleep आ गया, white light आ गया. That means the retina scan is successful. And still, I was there without my chashma, staring, and everything around me was, oh god. And later I got so overwhelmed by all of this. He gave me my passport and boarding passes, but he really didn't pass it to me. He just kept it at himself, like it's his end of the table. And my nails have the acrylic nails have now come out and become so big that before my fingers, my nails touched the passport, and the passport and boarding passes went on his desk. They got slipped, and then he was like, "Are you okay, madam?" I'm like, "No,
No,
no, I just need some
sir.
water."
I'm not. Clearly, can't you see?
Even now, when I'm speaking, my ears have gotten red.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's one crazy story.
You know what? All this while so there's this new movie that has come up, no? Tu Ya Main.
Hmm.
That crocodile stories, some
Hmm.
weird shit. I haven't went to theater to watch this shit, but I checked the bits and pieces from Instagram, from Twitter, sorry, X. All this while, there's this one dialogue that's been circling, which is what Shania Kapoor says, and she's like, "कि तू येड़ी है क्या बच्ची?"
And she says that with a certain accent.
Yeah, and all this time you were like narrating this story. My mind to him was, "तू येड़ी है क्या बच्ची?" But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That was going on in my head, and I was like, yeah, I was experiencing. Yeah. I was speaking that only in my mind. You got
Damn the irrigation. I was about to say irrigation.
damn the immigration.
Damn the immigration.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay, so since Muskan has started with a crazy, crazy story, I also have one, but we'll try to keep it as short as possible because this might go on and on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name, but we need to also give her a name. So let's just call her Miss Y.
Miss Y.
Because, yeah, literally, why? After the story, there will be why.
Okay. We have Miss Y.
Miss Y. So, the organization I'm working currently, there is one new joinee, Miss Y. She has joined, and we have been told before her joining that she's a little bit on the mental instability thing, which is going on because of her parents divorced. We were like, okay, fine.
Hmm.
So the first day she came in, she said everything was going good. Like, of course, the first day, so there were small talks. Second day she came in, and we were having some kind of chats, and then I asked her like, where do you live? So she told us that this is where she lives, and then she was like, oh, I used to live with my boyfriend, but now he has moved out. So we asked why. She was like, because we broke up, he was cheating on me, we
Oh
were about
god.
to get married this year, but he cheated. So we were like, it's fine, at least you got to know before marriage, because otherwise after getting married you are catching him like red-handed doing stuffs with other women. That would have been a nightmare. So
True.
she was like, yeah, that's true, I'm so locked out. Girls seems normal till this point. Then came another day, and then again we were casually talking about something, and then she mentioned that she is from convent school and she had nuns around them.
Shout out to our convent gullies.
I asked her from like a sense of curiosity, because I grew up watching horror, like Hollywood horror. I used to watch The Hunting from Discovery Channel. Then I used to watch all the Hollywood horror movies because I used to think that I'm too cool for Bollywood horror, and that doesn't scare the shit out of me. So of course Hollywood is the only option left. So
What the hell is Monjolica? No,
Yeah,
Angelica is scary.
bring me that Conjuring wala. By the way, guys, it's 12. I think it's 1 a.m. in the night
It's
that we are recording.
1:23 a.m.
We should not be talking about that
at all. Yeah,
at all.
coming back to Miss Y.
Miss. So then she was like, "Have you guys ever felt that way?" So we asked, like, what way? She said, like a spirit feeling, some shadows here.
Oh boy.
I immediately said, by the God's grace, I have never experienced any such thing. There was another girl, she said, I have but once, like once in her entire lifetime. So then she started that I have psychic ability and I can feel them. I can also talk to them. And
What in the Elise from Insidious? Oh god, let's not talk. I'm scared.
I know, right? And then she said, whenever they used to rent a new place for themselves, the entire family of hers, they used to ask her to go into that house first, do a round, check if there's any negative vibe, and then only after she approves of that place, then only they used to share. Like, oh my god, like that's
God.
god level psychic ability you have. Then she said, I have to noticed jinn also in my life. I have also felt someone sitting in my chest, and then there's this one point when I was so fed up with them, then I just casually asked one of the spirit that, what do you want? Like, do you want me to sit? What do you want? Just tell me. I'm not gonna call Jesus, but just tell me.
My god, I'm so scared. I've literally opened Chrome and then I've searched a picture of one of the god and I've kept it open for this picture. For this, oh my god, for this story. Dude, I'm scared.
And me and the other girl, we were looking at each other and we're like, are we actually hearing this? Or this is just some illusional or delusional thought that she's talking about, or it's true, like what is it? And then she started telling about her like boyfriends, that first boyfriend of her when he cheated. Also, by the way, guys, apparently she had like 4 relationships and all of them cheated on her. Sounds fishy. But the first boyfriend, when he cheated on her, what did she do is she cut her.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
put cuts in her.
Yeah. So she did that, and then she put salt, she put pep, she put some lemon in it just to get the high intense pain so that she can move over that guy.
There are some instances, Poonam, when I really feel that our podcast should have our faces because my expression right now.
I know. I mean, I'm pretty sure the kind of expression you are having right now or you're showing right now are exactly the same ones that me and that girl we were exchanging.
Bro,
And then she said, one fine day I was so fed up with the emotions and everything that's been going around because my parents got divorced, then my I couldn't see my mom for the longest. I was living with my dad and my 2 siblings. It all got so heavy on me that I one day I decided that I'll kill myself. To kill myself, I I bought all the possible options like rat poison, then some phenyl, some other things. She took all of that in front of her. She sat and she decided from which option she should stun. You mad?
I am too stunned this.
And the way she was like narrating the whole story. Now, the main part is the tone that she was using while narrating this story, and it was casual. Like my tone that I am explaining to you the kind of story I have heard.
It's not casual.
It's like over high tone that I am using. But she was like, हाँ एक दिन मैं बैठी ऐसे मैं सोचा कि आज खत्म ही करते हैं यार झंझट नहीं पालना है मुझे.
खुद ही नहीं पलेगी बहन तू.
And then she went like वो चली गई उस दिन. Me and that girl, I went up to her and I said, dude, all that story, let's keep that aside. I am afraid of this girl. Like, what is she up to? कल को वो मर मर के आ जाएगी इधर पे भूत बन के.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So yeah, like the not last week, last Monday, I think it was last Monday when I heard of this story and मेरी फटी है भाई. Remember that AIB sketch wherein that old lady says, Ayla, मेरी गांड फट गई.
Yeah. You showed me that once between working hours.
You know, yeah, I remember. So it's that. Meri phati.
Oh my god, this is so messed up.
Yeah. Now you guys can, also ask why.
Yeah, why, Miss Y? Why? Exactly, WHY. Oh boy. Which, kind of makes me think,
Yeah.
which I've been thinking for very long, but I think this story is just the right moment to talk about that. I feel that when we're going through something, everyone goes through something at some point, right? I'm not talking about psychic presence, guys. Please. I'm talking about basic things which overwhelm our emotions. I can't be more clear. So, when we're going through something, we actually need to take a step back and analyze what is our own participation in that suffering, because we tend to participate in our own suffering, which
Hmm.
exaggerates the suffering. And this story is just the right example to, showcase my theory.
Wow, that's so apt.
See? And then when you actually realize that what is your part in this suffering, and then you actually take actions to undo that part, you'll actually realize that 70% of the situation is solved. Because often when we're blaming someone else, we should also, one of my Hindi teacher in school used to say, एक उंगली किसी और पे उठा रही हो तो बाकी तीन तुम पे भी आ रही हैं. And I think I've taken that seriously.
But yeah, this theory, it's true actually. Yeah, we add up to our own sufferings. Wow,
Which,
Muki, that's such a good theory I've come up.
see, this is what the brain of a yapper sounds like.
Yeah.
On the contrary, why don't you put those efforts which are contributing to your suffering,
Hmm.
and instead put those efforts into situations and things that make you happy? Right?
Exactly.
And this is one thing which I actually learned through this trip, because the kind of culture I saw. Now I was in Eastern Europe, guys. I was in Eurasia. So if any of you come and comment ki geography पढ़ ले तो तुम भी पढ़ लेना. It is Eurasia, okay? Because as I mentioned, the West Europe visa got rejected. So I was in Eurasia. Eastern Europe. Georgia is basically Eastern Europe. So I actually realized this one thing there, that things really add up to a good life. And those two things are, first, a good work life balance,
Hmm.
and second is romanticism. Now I'm not talking about lovey-dovey romanticism. I'm just talking about the kind of romanticism we usually talk about. So I did see, like Azerbaijan, I also went to Baku. So there people started their day quite early, like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. They're grabbing breakfasts on the go. Oh, I always had this dream of grabbing, my breakfast on the go and then heading just do some side quest, which got kind of true here. I have like my coffee in hand, hot chocolate in my hand. So like, yeah, a lot of that kind of situation was there in Baku. But Georgia, on the other hand, also started early. People there started at around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. because once we had to catch our flight, and then we had to also start very early. We didn't sleep. So we had to. So we hopped to this breakfast place, and then I saw this one girl. She was working on her laptop. She was all dolled up. Okay. I repeat, dolled up. And we casually were like, so you're heading to your workplace after this? And then she was like, no, I work from home. I work remotely. I just felt like taking myself out today. I just felt like doing work in a certain different way. It helps me with my productivity. And I felt like, wow, wow. So we do not need to take our 10:30 a.m., those weird check-in meetings, morning check-in meetings from bed. And we can actually romanticize the basic things.
Yeah, actually, the fact that she has dolled up just to sit somewhere and do her job. I mean, wow,
Yeah,
actually.
it was like a pretty street facing cafes was like a checklist. So like, yeah, on those like street facing, you know what I'm talking, Emily kind of cafes.
Wow.
She was working, there was this canopy, and then her, the eggs and salad platter was on the way, cheese bread was on the way, coffee was on the way. And then she also mentioned that, yeah, later I'm meeting friends for drinks. And then by drinks, she didn't mean that she's going all out after 12 a.m. or something. She she was like, yeah, I'll wrap up by 5:30. Like they're starting at 9, 8, 9. So they're of course
Hmm.
wrapping up by 4 or 5. And she was like, yeah, I'm wrapping and then I'm meeting them for drinks. So they're talking about sundowner drinks, which also made me realize that how good can work-life balance affect your life.
Exactly. Imagine they're starting their day from 8 a.m. to 4:30, whatever shift is. It's in daylight. It's done. The job is done. Now she's heading out for a sundowner drink,
Exactly.
looking at the best sunset possible and sipping a wine or martini or what, anything.
Cha-cha. People there drink this drink called cha-cha.
But this is what dream life is made up of.
Exactly, see? And then we also noticed this one thing in their culture that people do take sundowner drinks, sundowner coffees, and all those kind of things. They chill, let's say from 7 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., 12 a.m. They just chill. And then 12 a.m. they come out to party. I spotted a techno gig there as well.
Of course.
See, and then I also sang See Them Out on the karaoke, but that's not the point. The point is they chill like from 7 to 12 and then they come out to party on Fridays and Saturdays. They don't really party on Sunday.
I'm
That's,
feeling such FOMO right now.
yeah, FOMO for a feeling. Can you believe?
Exactly. Because in India, like not at least, I think 90% of the organizations are working like robots.
True.
And the reason that they have the enthusiasm in them is because they have a pretty good, like, balanced life. Over
Exactly.
here, you are starting your day from, actually, if I see, then you are actually starting your day from 8 a.m. only, because you're waking up, you're prepping for the day, you're getting ready, then you're going out, you're starting the job, all that. Then of course there will be people will come and tell you that you're not good enough, no recognition, nothing. Then you'll have your lunch again. In the lunch also there will be bitching all around, इसने इसको ये बोल दिया, उसने इसको ये बोल दिया. That the entire lunch will go into the negative energy. Then you will restart the second half of the day like slothing literally. And then at 6:30, when your time official hours ends, you cannot leave, because if you leave at 6:30, it means you are not doing enough.
Exactly, exactly. So not only is the work-life balance important, but understanding the boundary or creating your boundary or respecting those boundaries for each other is equally important. I'm not saying that those people might not have work politics, they might not have pressure. They also do, but I love how their boundaries are so strong and those boundaries are being respected.
Exactly. Over here, nobody respect. Nobody does. And they expect you to reply on a Sunday.
Oh boy.
So by the time you come home or you get your work done, you are already drained. Not physically, but mentally.
Mentally. Yeah.
And once you're like mentally drained, you have no zeal to do anything else. Not even go for drinks. You'll be like, कि मुझे सोना है बस अभी.
Exactly. And like the 7 to 12 a.m. that those people chill, they can use it for their gym, for their dinner, what not.
Exactly. I think Muskan, this is our cue to, quit this corporate life and get into get
Podcast.
into the podcast business girly era.
This is, I mean, but
Move
like
to Europe and then start living there.
there exactly. True. Because if this is not a sign from the universe, what is Poonam?
And you're telling me all this today, right?
Yeah.
Because we have caught up today. From the last 1 week, I have been jumbling in my mind, and I was like कि ये भी करना है मुझे, ये भी करना है मुझे, ये भी. Apart from like corporate, तो फिर मैंने 3-4 options which like we can do apart from corporate, and then we can flourish, and then we do not have to go back to corporate again. मैं यही सब सोच रही थी.
See, this is what a job, a bad job or a toxic job does to you.
Yeah, and it's a norm. Here, it's a norm.
True. But like what I actually took from this trip or what we can take for this conversation, considering we have to wrap in the next 5 minutes, Oh, two things. So first would be I'm someone who loves to doll up, and you know it, right? You know it so well.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like I got into like a ligament injury back in September, and I had
Hmm.
lost my will to doll up, to do anything, to dress up while my job was sucking the life out of me. All
Yes.
right. And when I went on this trip, I was like, I'm gonna make sure that I dress so well so that the younger Muskan, the 13-year-old Muskan, the 3-year-old Muskan is proud of. And not only have I dressed well, trust me, I have brought back my will to doll up. I know this can sound very ugh, ये क्या बोल रही है, but the girls who get it, get it.
Yeah, of course. It's actually important.
See, it is. I said no, the baddies who get it, get it. And the second thing which I am definitely taking out of this, and I'd want all of you beautiful people listening to this take out of this, is romanticize your life. That's where the magic is hidden. Have the audacity and romanticize it. It's all going to happen. It's all going to happen, and it'll all happen in the most beautiful way.
As you have just said it, I have visualized my entire life in the way that I have envisioned, and मैंने बस blush किया.
See, just by hearing this or thinking about this, we get so happy. Let's just implement this.
Yeah.
Don't let any corporate, any ex, any bad friendship, any stupid situation, forget or miss out on the whimsical diva that you are.
Hmm. And if you ever feel stuck in a situation or in a friendship or in a relationship where you feel like what to do exactly, learn to navigate.
True.
Learn to navigate through it, because sometimes the best thing to do is to dance in their tune and get out of it.
Ooh, time to frame this. Time to frame these words.
Yeah, so on that note,
Okay.
time to say good night, not goodbye.
Good night. Yeah, for real. My brain is still not getting the concept of time, but yeah, good night.
Okay then, bye bye.
Bye. And who am I? That's one secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.